Hello guys, and happy International Women's Day. In today's video we'll be discussing a book going by the name of The Sex Lives of African Women by Nana Darkoa Sekyiamah. Now this book is a non-fiction, and the former of the book is literally the author writing all the sexual experiences of the African women which she has interviewed, and as we read it, you're basically just reading different experiences of different women, whether it is how they discovered their sexuality or how they discovered their kinks, things they like in bed and so forth, and the challenges they faced in that journey. A significant proportion of the women which the author interviewed largely represented more than one nation and had their sexual encounters shaped by various countries they have lived in and cultures which they experienced. They were all on a journey towards sexual freedom and agency. Moreover, healing can often look different for everybody. For some, healing came through about celibacy and spiritual growth, and for others, healing came through taking back power as a dominatrix or a sex worker. And now, in this book, you'll find that not every single experience of every woman ended happy. In fact, some ended in a very ambiguous way. Some in a, I'll say, balance, and some got something that they weren't really expecting. For example, there was a woman from, I believe, Cameroon. She traveled to Senegal to be with a man which she'd been which she's been talking to online, and they'll be having a romantic relationship in a long distance manner. And when she finally moved to Senegal, this man was building a house for her in a compound, but this man, unbeknownst to her, had already 3 wives, as in Senegal polygamy is legal and it's largely a Muslim country, and in some sects of Islam you're allowed to have up to 4 wives. However, you must treat them equally, so you can't show favoritism. You have to basically act accordingly and treat every single one equal and keep your favoritism in your mind. So she travels there, he builds a house for her, she moves in, and then she finds out that he has 3 wives. Of course, she recently converted to Islam, so she didn't see a problem with this. However, the other 3 wives treated her as a stranger. They didn't welcome her in, and they basically isolated her. She tried to be friends with them, since they have something in common. She calls the sister wives, since they're all the wives of this man. So she wanted to converse with them, be friends with them, have peace. However, they didn't give her that. Moreover, she really enjoys sex, and that was reduced. So she'll often have it once a month, because the guy would work and travel, and when he comes back, he would have to ration his time with all these women, and she didn't have his time as she expected. Moreover, the other 3 wives refused to teach her how to cook certain meals, like certain local meals, because she's from a different country, so she wanted to learn. She was eager to learn. However, the way she was treated is like they just wanted her to learn all by herself. She tried, and however sometimes they will not even touch her food. And there were cultural nuances such as, apart from the man of the house, everyone has to eat in a bowl. So everything is in one bowl, whilst the man of the house, his food is separated, so two different plates. She didn't know this, and she had to learn this just by observation. And the other three wives weren't really helping. However, she was really close with her kids. Her kids, the other three wives' kids, always used to come to her house and hang out and just have a chat. And she liked this, because she wanted to bond with them, because, well, she's the wife of their father, and she wanted a peaceful community. However, she was unsure whether the three other wives wanted their kids to hang around with her. So she faced a really challenging environment, and her story basically ended with her trying to deal with that. So ambiguous. Moreover, as a reader, you will find out that sexuality is viewed differently across different cultures. The book gave an example of a woman who's from Haiti, and the Haitian view of sexuality. In their view, the divinity of sexuality is close to that of the divinity of death, which is regarded in high esteem. Furthermore, sexuality in their culture has its own gods, goddesses, and in between gender goddesses. Sexuality is seen as vulgar, but not in the Western sense of vulgarity. Vulgar in their thinking is blunt, courageous, verbal, and sexual. For instance, physicality and the moving of the body in dance is very sexual. Being able to do these vulgar sexual dances are even in high society is regarded as culture, and Haitians are proud of the culture. So as you can see, certain dances for them is sexual, and it represents that. So however, in other cultures, certain dances aren't seen as sexual, even though to a Westerner it might seem as sexual. For example, if you look at the Congolese culture, they love to move their hips. To an outsider, they might look at that and be like, wow, these people are very sexual people. And in fact, they are quite sexual people. However, the dances they display, to them, they don't see it as sexual. They just see it as being a good dancer. So that's how sexuality is different and varies across different cultures. And as you can imagine, in most society, specifically the African one, as this book is about, sexuality is viewed in a very traditional sense. Like, they expect sex to be between a man and a woman, and if there's multiple people, many women. So certain individuals in this book, for example, they may identify as bisexual, have had a hard time. They've been ridiculed, especially the individuals who identify as trans. They had the hardest time. So I almost said donc, that's in French. So they went through a lot of prejudice, slurs, and most of them ended up moving to Western countries. However, they did not expect what they found, especially the men. When they moved to Western nations, they experienced fetishization. So things weren't exactly like how they expected to be. A lot of guys, especially the the black men who were feminine when they went to gay clubs, for example. The men there wanted masculine black guys. They didn't want feminine black guys. So they found that challenging. And when they gradually fully transitioned into women, into females, they found out that certain Western men would fetishize black women for their looks, for their bodies and stuff, and they'll throw remarks that made them feel uncomfortable, and they didn't like that so much. And within the community, they would be called demons, possessed, and they'll just face a very hard time for being trans. Moreover, biologically black women, also face the same fetishization, and they'll find out that certain white men would either like them for their personality, and some will just see them as a fetish and comment on their bodies and so on, and just make comments that made them feel uncomfortable. So that's literally what you'll find in this book. Stories of sexual encounters, experience, and what certain women learned about themselves. Some learned that they prefer large penises, some learned that they prefer medium, smaller, whatever, and some learned that they like women more than men. And a lot of the women here, you'll find out that are bisexual, and some even polyamorous. So they'll be with their husband for years, and then they'll decide monogamy isn't for them, and their nature is that of polyamory. So, and they would go and pursue their polyamorous adventure, and as you can imagine, some of them would end happily, some of them will end not so happy ending, not pun intended, and some would have an ambiguous ending. So the experiences here are quite broad in this book of these women. Many experiences, a lot are very similar, and then you get a few that are quite unique and different. So if this is the sort of book you want to read, if you're interested in it, go and give it a go and learn more. It may teach you more about your sexual preferences. It might spike some curiosity. If you're a curious person, this is a book for you. Or if you're a sexually curious individual, this is definitely a book for you. Thank you for listening, and keep reading.